Welcome back to Focus on Frisco's. Thanks for staying with us. I'm still Shannon Fallon, but I have a new guest, a new Andy. Andy Eld, nice to see you.
How are you, Shannon?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. As I mentioned to Andrew, we were talking that you guys are new council members, but you're really, normally I get to talk to you when you're brand new and you're all green, and you guys got thrown into the fire on this one. It was sworn in and lots of big decisions to make. So you're not that new anymore, but I'm very excited to have you on, and I appreciate you taking the time to do it. Because again, I know you guys are super busy right now, including a town council meeting, even as we speak today. So let's talk a little bit, Andy, about you, why you're here. How long have you lived in the town of Frisco?
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
I have been in Frisco since 1987.
Love it.
And I have always aspired to get involved with the town.
Well, what the heck took you so long? My goodness.
Mostly life,
that.
work and all of that. It's tough. As Dan knows, it's tough to maintain with your career and everything, and give your civic service. And I'm lucky enough now to be at the point in my life where my wife and I own a business, and she runs most of it, and it has given me a little more time to be able to give back.
I think it's great. It's I love hearing that both of you mentioned that civic duty part of it, because I think it's really important. And that's one of the reasons I love talking to you guys, because then my next question, of course, is going to be, then what prompted you to do this past year? Like, why wasn't it 15 years ago? Why now? What did you see? So you can answer all those questions. Why did you decide a year ago or a year and a half or whatever it was that this was the time?
Sure. Now was the time primarily because of my ability with the business. But I was attempting to get involved for many years in different ways, peripherally, and was relatively successful at that, but I saw that it would make a difference to be involved on this level here, and I'm really just, I'm lucky enough to have the ability.
Was there one issue that you were like, I got to get this taken care of?
Not so much.
I don't know. I saw that eyebrow.
We're a pretty successful town, and we're a good town. We've got a great community and everybody running it and all. I would say prior to our new town manager coming on, there was probably a large contingent of longtime locals that felt like they weren't getting heard. And that is what kind of prompted me about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, to jump into the race and decide to run. Yeah,
with some people that you've known for all these years that you've been here that just kind of came to you and said, do you ever feel like it's not moving in the direction we thought it was, or?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
There are plenty of issues. There's always contentious issues, and when you're not involved, sitting in council chambers, a lot of the time you don't necessarily understand all of the decisions that have been made,
right,
and the thought process that has gone into it.
Yeah.
And so just with that, people feel sometimes like they're on the periphery to that, and I got to say, with video council meetings,
right,
it's really enabled people in the community to get more involved.
Yeah.
Because instead of one or two people or three people sitting in council chambers during a council meeting, now they have the ability to be making dinner and watch the council meeting and hold us accountable, which is really important. And so, so right now it's a different time. It's a very different time, and it's not only because of COVID, and it's not only because of our town manager and new council members and all.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a different world.
Yeah, it really is. No, I think it's fascinating, and I hear enough people who really have started tuning in every single week now.
Yeah.
And I hope that it continues afterward. I know that the council chambers, certainly in this time can't hold hundreds of people. But I really hope that people continue, and even when it's live and in person, that new and different people start to stop by, because it's a fascinating process. And I'm sure that you have, now that you've been sitting in those chairs, whether it's at your home desk or actually in council chambers, that you have a different perspective on it, on what it really does take.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And, I'm trying to lead a push. Andrew's on with me to continue the video calls even when we get back into council chambers.
No kidding.
Because that way, people can just do it from the comfort of their home and not
Right.
have to show up at council chambers.
So here's another question, though. It's kind of a sidebar. With that quote unquote anonymity of being, do you feel like there's a little bit of a change in how people can approach you on it? Because it's not, I think there's a really big difference when somebody's looking in you in the eye and saying, here's what I really feel about you and your decision making, and typing it.
Sure.
I would, wouldn't it be nice to have them looking you in the eye?
It would, and maybe that's just a COVID thing.
Right?
Where we're in this position where we can't get together, or we haven't been getting together as much, and there's the ability with the video calls and all to do that, but there is definitely something lacking from doing it on video all the time.
Yeah.
There's definitely more of a connection when you're face to face. Looking at the video screen is different.
Yeah.
Right. But we're all still here. Nobody's gone anywhere. When we closed down, I think more of the local people were more vocal at that time because there was less chatter.
Right.
There were just less people around to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Running a campaign during COVID was a challenging thing, that's for sure.
I imagine that it was. I imagine that it was. Successful at the end of the day, so that's good. So
Yes.
what, as you guys, you guys were, it was sworn in, and then it was just masks and safety and health and promenade and businesses and money. What keeps you up at night still? Which one of those is the one that really you wake up and go, oh Lord, that's still going on? Or did we make the right decision now that one's done?
Let's see. I think the promenade at this point is proving successful. The question for me is, come Labor Day, what are we doing after that? What are we doing coming into the winter? Because this is not going to be a model that works for wintertime around here. It's one thing into the next. Every week it's something new having to do with the same issues.
Right.
Mostly being COVID. But I think what keeps me up at night is probably my biggest issue with what we're facing here, I believe, is just the influx of more people. As the Front Range grows, they come here. We're one of the first stops, and we're only going to get more and more people. Summit Boulevard right now sees, I think, 30,000 cars a day.
Yeah.
And, and that's before we're doing the GAP project and everything. We're going to get more vehicles. We're going to get more people. We're going to be putting more people together with COVID. If we're, still in these COVID times, we have to consider that. We have to consider the infrastructure to support all of these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one. And it is, with this being such a respite, and I'm sure, as soon as we opened our doors again, it was on, and it's exciting to see, and the energy is wonderful, but I could see where that would keep you up, is making sure that all of the above are taken care of.
It's a little scary too.
Yeah,
right?
It is.
That's what keeps me up at night.
Yep. Well, I know you guys have budgets coming up. You have the continued conversation on the promenade. There are many, many things coming up. So I look forward to meeting again here after you guys go through your first budget session, start to talk about some of those projects that were definitely on the platform last year. And then as we start to go into this new time and new, more careful spending, I'm excited to talk to you guys as a council about what comes out of that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to anytime.
Good. Well, I thank you for your time today. It's fun to see you in businesses. I did want to tell you that I see you often because I'm in a couple of businesses myself for what I do, and it's been fun to see you having those conversations with the store owners and really kind of engaging and getting those opinions. And I'm sure you're taking them to town council, and that's great. We
I'm
appreciate
trying.
your service.
I try to patronize everyone I can on Main Street. I try to eat at all the restaurants, and I try to stay away when it gets too busy.
Right? Not a bad idea either. All right, we're going to
Okay.
take another quick break. Andy, again, thank you so much for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you,
All
Shannon.
right. Stay with us right here on Focus on Frisco.